I want to document it. I want to pull you in with me to show you that you can do crazy things that your parents would never do and their grandparents would never think of. Because we live in a world where you can rewrite the script. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great start to your Monday. My name is Kevin, and my purpose, my point, the thing I'm trying to do this morning and every morning is present you with a little bit of information that's super simple to understand where you can take action on it today, whether it be in your mind or in your actions in your day-to-day. Really, there's no perfect formula for this, but the truth is I'm going to touch on topics like fitness, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, where I can give you something to elevate your life. I'm not asking for anything in return. I want you to be present. I want you to take this all in, and a lot of it is from my experience, right? I'm going to take the information that I've absorbed and I'm going to process it, and then I'm going to give it to you so you can do the same, hopefully in a positive manner. Today's topic is theory, right? I am not a financial advisor. I have a decent amount of life experience, from health and money and being in debt to not being in debt to having a fantastic credit score, from being 300 pounds to not being 300 pounds to never running a business to running a successful business. Take it as you may, use it as you will. I'm always here for questions. You can always reach out to me directly at Cavan, C-A-V-A-N, at hiddensummitgroup.com, or just DM me. I'll get back to you sooner. It's just at CAVANTV _ on Instagram, TikTok, etc. What is investing? Simply put, it's doing something today to pay dividends tomorrow, to do something today to see improvements tomorrow, doing something today with unknowns happening tomorrow, where you are in hopes of making that come true for you and your life, right? You probably have heard of investing in the stock market, things like that. It's a roller coaster a lot of the time, but I'm not going to talk about the financial aspect of it today. Just I'll use money as a barometer for certain situations, but investing doesn't necessarily mean give your money to somebody else and have them deal with it, have them use it, have them help move forward in your life. What I want you to do is take responsibility for this investment, right? And the first thing that we do is, when we're thinking about whether it be investing our money or making a purchase of something or going into a relationship, starting a health journey, we want to think of the short-term effects and the long-term effects, and not just if we commit and follow through with that particular situation, but rather if we don't. So if we do not invest our time, energy, effort, money into a situation, like what are the effects short-term and long-term? If you watch my other video speaking about 1% Better and The Slight Edge, a book on the consolidated interest of positive decisions in our life, whether it's positive or negative in the beginning, typically you're not going to see a large return on that, right? Negative or positive. Now, if I can have you zoom out, right? Pro tip, when in doubt, zoom out. Gain a 30,000-foot view on your life. It's what I like to say. Like, if I went all the way up into the sky and looked down and saw how small I was and how insignificant all these emotional moments were, I'd probably be able to make a better decision. So if you can take the emotion out of it and think logically as to why we are making this decision today to invest in something, whether it be a relationship, a product, a service, literally investing our money, why is that going to benefit us? How is that going to help me? There's a lot of research that needs to be done. Now, don't overdo your research. Find a trusted source. For me, financially, I go to Lacey with Fearless Financial Wellness. She helps me with all of that. When it comes to business, I have a mentor. When it comes to health and fitness, I surround myself with health and fitness oriented people. When it comes to other things, people come to me. So I want to help you the same way. I want to put you in a position to understand the practicality and the actuality of it all, so you can make a decision for yourself. And that's what this comes down to. How do we make a decision? Do you believe, like really believe, this product, service, person is going to benefit you long term? Do you have information from an outside source? Have you done your due diligence and saw testimonials from other people? Do you truly believe it in your gut that this is what's going to make you live the life that you want to live, financially, health-wise, emotionally, is this what you want? You really have to sit and ask yourself that. Now, to be able to do that, there are some obvious things like, well, if I work out, I'm going to be more fit. No shit, but you can't sign up for a gym and not go. So is the gym investment worth it, or are you going to utilize your time and use your time elsewhere to make those same changes? We're going to get to more of that. Typically, people are set up into three categories. I follow the Enneagram a lot, and I will not dive into the Enneagram too much right now, but there's 9 types and many different subtypes. 27 subtypes. Don't quote me on that. Math is hard in the moment. But we break them down into head types, heart types, and gut types. So take an audit really quick and think about how you decision make. Do you decision make by overthinking? Do you decision make emotionally? Do you decision make with your gut? I'm more of a gut oriented person. Now I have traits of heart and head, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be a human being, and I would make a lot more mistakes than I have made, and I've made plenty of fucking mistakes. What I find in these investing short-term versus long-term decisions, and actually asking yourself if you truly believe in the investment and what it can do for you, the head types are going to have a much more difficult time making these decisions because you're going to overthink it. Typically, humans tend to overthink. Now, whether that comes from analysis of data or emotion depends on the individual and the decision in itself. But do you feel in your heart, do you feel in your gut when it comes to doing something for you that this is going to serve you on your journey, right? Remember vision. Where are we going? How do we see this playing out? What do I want for my future? You need to see that before you make a decision. You can't just say, oh, fuck it, let's just do this right now and it's going to pay off without doing anything in the long run. Do you want to change your life to have this be a part of it? When you're investing financially, you want to see yourself successful in the future, 20, 30 plus years from now. You're still paying to make that happen with money every week, every month, every year until that happens. So you're hoping that pays off in the long run. With your health, if you have 100 pounds to lose like I did, you don't go to the gym and get any fitter or any less fat on day 1 than you are on day 2. It's the same, but you keep showing up because you believe in your head and your heart and your gut that this is going to pay off in the long run. When you choose to spend your life with somebody, you don't just marry them and then don't show up for that relationship every single day. You need to show up for years and years until death do us part to make that work. I like, personally, that's all it is. The head is going to complicate things for me because I overthink. The heart and the gut is where I'm going to think about what am I going to do? How is this going to affect me? How do I feel about this? That's why I let emotion go into it. And if I'm uneasy about it, I'll go find more information. I'll wait a day, a week, a month. And if I still feel the same way, then I'll go ahead with the investment. Now, financially, investing costs money, right? And I have a couple different examples of when I spent $30,000, $20,000, $10,000, and most recently $5,000 on a service or a product to put myself in a better position. And for the most part, not 100%, it's all paid off. But I take responsibility for it not paying off, and I'll explain why. Let me tell you a little story. It was 2020, we started Hidden Summit. Things were going well, grew the company, grew the business, grew the clients. I love helping people, really building this plane while flying it. And that's one thing about entrepreneurship is that you got to be quick with your decisions and your actions and pivoting, because when you're building a plane while flying it, if one thing goes wrong, it can crash and burn. So we had a really great moment in time with growing the business, and then we hit a glass ceiling where I was getting in my own way because I wasn't knowledgeable enough to help expand the business, whether it be the operations side or delegating tasks, giving up responsibility in certain areas so it can grow. So I got tagged in a post and I pinged a friend about this webinar, and I happened to say, fuck it, let's see what they're going to sell me on this webinar, because that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to show up, they're going to pitch you on something, it's going to cost a certain amount of money, and we went forward with it. Happened to be Jason Phillips' webinar. It was a week long. So I was like, I'm showing up every single day, block my calendar, 7 o'clock every single night. Let's show up for this webinar. And I was impressed. I was like, and I knew all of this shit, but just the way he delivered it, I was impressed. And I had this feeling in my gut that this person I didn't know was somebody I wanted to know and somebody I needed in my corner, because the information that he had and what he's done in this parallel industry is something that I wanted to do in this industry, with continuing to help people and putting people first and having a business acumen that I didn't have, was going to be what I needed to go from $30,000 months to six-figure months. So I signed up. But it wasn't until I had a call. And on this call, and even however much you prepare for it, it still makes you pause for a second. And I'm sitting there and talking to this guy, his name is Dan. And he goes, okay, so we have the $10,000 option, but you already seem to be doing everything that we're teaching there. So to have access to Jason and be in his corner and enter this elite program, it's going to cost you $30,000. But we guarantee in the first 90 days that you make that month over month. And I was like, you guarantee it, or you guarantee if I do the work, then I'll do it? Because that was the decision. So, man, am I willing to do the work to make sure that I get a return on my investment? So we went and we did it. I didn't have the $30,000 at the time. I financed it. I was like, I'm going to pay this off. And it took me 18 months to pay it off, interest-free. It was great. It was like cash. But I had to be willing, with my money on the line and not having to pay more for it, put in the work every single day. And in 3 months' time, we went from $30K a month to six figures a month. But it's not about the dollar signs here. We were able to grow the team. We were able to help more people. We were able to get more organized. We were able to have more business acumen and more experience. And with more experience, even though it was very fast growth and we learned a lot of lessons along the way, we put ourselves in a position to do more of what we wanted to do, which was the goal the entire time, because we believed it. We really believed it, that we were the ones that were going to help people become better, elevating their life, body and mind, mindset, nutrition, and movement, so they can enhance their life. We saw a lot of people that were down and out, depressed, couldn't get out of their own way, weren't saving money, weren't going to the gym, were eating like shit, drinking too much alcohol. And we were doing a really good job with doing that at a very base level. But to do it in a way where we wanted to help more people, we needed more information. So that $30,000 became worth it after 3 months. Pretty good investment. At that time, I was approached, because it was a year-long contract, the service, by Jason. And he asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to do lifetime with the boardroom? I was like, sure. What does that look like? I like having you in my corner. You've been a great mentor, even a friend. $20,000. I didn't even bat an eye. And I said, okay, let's do this. Now, this is a lifetime value. This was a 1-year commitment. I put this on credit card, right? I paid cash for this. I can honestly say I did not invest in myself as much with the second investment as I did with the third investment, because I didn't have the same belief that I needed it. I got cocky and we hovered. The access was good. The conversations were good. We worked a lot more on the inside of the business, which was really helpful. If there's an upside, it was being more operationally sound, building a stronger foundation for an elongated future. But that return on investment has not happened the same way. It's not over though, because it's lifetime. And when I sit here and I make a video like this, and I'll get more into the other two investments in a moment and how this all comes together, is that you can't set an expectation without letting yourself down. I went into the first one with no expectation. I was like, well, you know what? We're going to make this work. If it doesn't happen, I get my money back, but let's do everything that we can do to make ourselves win, to help other people. And we did. Now, there's a lot of other factors that go into the second investment, but I still think here we are over a year and a half, almost 2 years later, that it was the right decision, because I still have access. I still have my back against the wall, and in entrepreneurship, it never really ends. So this has not paid off yet, but I'm not in the place that I want it to be. So what do I have to do? More heart, gut, head, think, believe, act. That's how I look at those things. Head, heart, and gut. Think, believe, and act. But I really believe in what we're doing here at Hidden Summit, and the goal is to continue to get better. We know that we have helped people. We know that when people come in, they have a tough time leaving, which is awesome. But there's more people out in the world that we want to help. So what questions can I ask and what action can I take to make that happen? Use the service that we got to ourselves so we can invest. Pivoting a little bit, before both of these happened, going back to 2019, 2020, when the world shut down and I was living in New York, before I moved from Brooklyn to Queens, I had access to our CrossFit gyms, and I worked out there and everything was great until the gyms closed down, and then it wasn't as great because we weren't supposed to be there. We'd be at the gym sometimes and like the cops would come on the door and be like, you guys, what are you doing? Why are you working out here? And be like, we're the only ones here. They're like, you can't be here. And it didn't really make sense to us, but they were really kind about it. So then we slowly stopped working out at the gyms. Anyway, when I moved, I didn't have access to the gyms anymore, and I had a garage. And at first, in the garage, I had a pair of kettlebells and a dumbbell and a barbell with no weight, had a jump rope, had my body. But I was like, this isn't going to cut it for me. I wanted more. And over time, I spent roughly $10,000 on building a home gym. And I'll tell you, for the first 2 years that I was there, it paid itself off. I used it every single day. I wrote the programming. I helped more people writing the programming. I trained people inside the gym. I put myself in a position to win by using the different equipment that I got every single day. But I guarantee that you can name 1 or 2 people that you know that has purchased a piece of fitness equipment, whether it be a Peloton or an elliptical or a barbell, and it's just a coat hanger. It just collects dust. If you don't use the purchase, it will not pay off in the long run. Now, I labeled this as priceless because I will have the equipment forever. Some pieces may come and go. I may accrue new equipment. I may get rid of some old equipment. But for me, health is a lifelong journey. I don't need to lose another 100 pounds, but I need to stay fit in other ways. So that $10,000 investment happened over a period of time, so it was easy to do it in little chunks. But there were moments where this thing cost $6,000, and this thing cost $1,000, and this thing cost another $350 that I didn't really know if I had at the time. But I decided, I believed it. I felt it. I was emotional about it. I really believed it. That the short-term benefits and the long-term benefits would pay off for my health and being able to help other people. It was multi-layered. Would you invest $10,000 in a gym? Maybe you start with $100 in a piece of equipment. If it serves you and that helps you because you aren't able to go and take care of your health in other ways, that would make it a valid investment. The last thing I want to talk about is an unknown, something I made a purchase about this weekend. I'm creating more content for you. I want that content to be better. Lacey and I have created a business, Upgrade Your Existence. We want to show people that they don't have to live the same boring, mundane life. They can go and travel the world and experience different things without breaking the bank. But to do that, I want to be able to create content you want to see. So I went and I purchased a camera. God, cameras are expensive. Lenses are even more expensive. It is insane to me. But I sat on it for about a month. When I started this too, I was like, do I want to make every video on my iPhone? I am making it on my iPhone now. And yes, I understand for all of the cinematographers out there, it's not the piece of equipment, it's the eye and the content and how you make it work. But I sat and I had this moment after having a quite stressful week last week with business and health and finances and all these ups and downs. It was hard to zoom out, like you're getting pulled down. The gravity is pulling you down to this moment when you're like, think about it, be emotional about it. You're going to fucking hate yourself if you stay there. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Worst case scenario is that I sell it, but I don't believe in worst case scenarios because then I'm setting myself up for failure. So I scratched that thought, got out of my own head. And I believed, I was like, this is the life that I want to live. I saw myself traveling the world. We're going to Texas this month. We are going to Europe next month. We have plans to go back to Europe to look at property later this year. And I want to tell that story. I want to document it. I want to pull you in with me to show you that you can do crazy things that your parents would never do and their grandparents would never think of. Because we live in a world where you can rewrite the script. We live in a world where in your 30s, you can start something new and you can be successful. I literally just saw a post yesterday of a 43-year-old who quit their job because they started painting at 42, and for 6 months they started painting, and now they're able to provide for their entire family. Now, that's not a normal situation. It's not a typical story. However, they put their mind to it because they believed it. They invested in the time to learn how to paint. They took the hours that it spent to put that art together. They didn't know if people were going to love it. They didn't know if people were going to want to purchase it. But 18 months later, they were able to provide for their entire family, and they didn't have to work their boring job anymore, and they put themselves in a position to live the life they want to live. So will this $5,000 investment be worth it? That's up for me to decide. So what is it that you're investing in? Are you investing in your health? The accountability it takes to get better? The fitness that you need to do? Understanding food? Financially, your future? Your emotions? Your relationships? Your communication? Your job? Your children? What are you spending the time on for you to be at the front of your life and then pull everybody along with you? Because I'll tell you, with all of these, the ups and the downs, as the roller coaster of investing is, it's never this up and to the right. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to crash. You're going to have to figure it out. But when you believe it, like really believe it, stop overthinking it. You have it in your heart, have it in your gut. This is going to make you better. That's when investing pays off. So thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you guys for taking the time. Remember to subscribe. It would be really cool if you did and you made it this far, because I'm trying to make some awesome videos for you, and it's just going to change, get better every single day. So hit subscribe, follow me here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you want to follow me, but it means the world, and I will chat with you guys later.